Hey guys, Fist of Fury here, and I'm doing a face cam for this video and see if you guys like me to do more face cams for these reviews. But before we begin this review on the C45, because that's what I'm calling it, I'm not going to try to attempt calling it by its name. I'm going to make a personal shout out. No, I did not buy this tank. This tank was bought by my dear friend Sauce Timer, even though his gamer tag changed because apparently they consider that a bad thing on YouTube. Well, not YouTube, I mean on Xbox, so whatever. So I'll get his name up there. So I wanted to thank you personally. I even put a little kiwi flag on the back to always represent him as a whole as well. That said and done, also other news too is I finally completed the season pass. So the Bombat review will be coming out shortly for all who that's paying patient. I'm sorry it took so long, but grinding the ops, I had to, and Jesus, it's like irritating. So, and you're probably also wondering, Fury, well, if I can get back to the garage, if I don't have a stroke of which way to go. You're probably saying, Fairy, why'd you took your Cobra Cat from the cat tank review into this tank? I didn't. Another friend bought me another gift, but this one wants to remain anonymous. Sorry to edit that audience. I basically had a phone call. But anyway, Saz bought me another tank. He bought me well, the pack's not here anymore, but he bought me this tank. And another friend of mine bought me the Commander. So I got him properly installed in the tank, but now I got, if you look at my Commanders real quick, I have two of the latex girl fucking Commanders. It's like the Asian Siamese twins. The only difference is one's running a World War II tank, one's running her own tank. But we'll get to that in a minute, what you should have for an officer. And please, trust me, this tank needs so much work. So having a 3-perk officer right off the bat really helps it. You have no idea. You have no freaking idea. But I'm going to explain why. And apparently the tank has no idea because the tank's invisible. Maybe it's good. Nobody knows it exists. Nobody knows it exists. It just disappeared. No, let's be real. Let's review the tank. Now, first and foremost, let's talk about the armaments real quick. Now, the armament, that's appearance. Although I will talk about that in a minute. Now, as you can see from an overhaul view, this tank is not really a heavy tank as a classification. Don't get me wrong. The way how it angles and slope, you would think, oh, that seems beautifully. The whole armor, rounded angle, perfect. Head armor, completely good chunk of an angle of a literally 10 or 20 degrees angle, plus with space armor. How can you go wrong? You could go wrong, all right. Let's just say that. You could go fucking wrong. But let's talk about the strongest part of the tank, which is absolutely ridiculous. What is the strongest part of the tank? And that is 22 millimeters right underneath the gun. I don't know why would anyone be aiming there, but whatever. And for those of you who don't know, since you're new, since you're seeing me with a face cam this time, my TV is up there. So I have to look up there. So my apologies if I'm not looking directly at the camera. I'm looking directly at the TV to make it easier to review it. So my apologies for that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. That is 22 millimeters. And then you got 185 millimeters plus a little bit of spatial armor. Now, this is the part I have to talk about, is this part here, the head. Don't get me wrong. We know the whole armor is bad. I mean, it's got some spatial armor, but I know the whole armor is crap. So you're relying on the head armor again, right, Fury? Is that what you're trying to say? Yes and no. The problem with this tank, I have noticed heavily playing this 20 times already, and yes, that's how many times I've been playing this before I started this review, is Tier 8 guns have a problem penning it. And you're gonna laugh at me for this. You're really gonna laugh. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna point to it. This part up here, where the spatial ain't, is stronger than the actual spatial part armor. I wish I was making that up, audience. I wish I was on high drugs. But literally, the upper sliver, where there's no spatial armor, mind you, let me show you the appearance real quick. If I can zoom in. Actually, you see where the, I'll turn the tank. You know where the eagle statue, I'll point to it again. All up there is a lot more stronger. I don't know how. It may be a glitch of wargaming, but I've seen tier 9 guns, I've seen tier 8 guns up in my face shooting me there, and it ricochets. Meanwhile, you're supposed to have a kind of extra armor layout that doesn't work. Like, for example, let me go to the armaments real quick. So, you see this spatial shield. Let's see how much the spatial shield is. 20 millimeters. So you got 185 plus 20 millimeters of a 10 degree or 20 degree angle slope. So you're looking at literally, wow, you're looking at like almost 205. Now, I could see where tier 9 guns can pen it because 209 millimeter combined with the spatial armor plus angled. Yeah, it's going to go right through that easily. Because we're talking about, again, as much as I hate to say this tank plays in the tier 10s, and I'm asking what the fuck wargaming? Is someone literally on drugs when you make the match systems for your fucking... I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm trying to control it. Ever since the cat video, I kind of scared a couple of people acting like the way I did at the end, but it's how I feel how wargaming is. Like, who the frig decided that this tank should be play against tier 10s? Who in their department said it was okay that saying that this should play up to tier 10s? This should be prep matchmaking tank right here, because everything I'm about to say about this tank, besides the armament that we're reviewing right now, is literally the prime example of what these premium tanks cannot do against a 10. And it's just like you ever want to once picture wargaming as a chicken or a little thin neck thing, and you just want to strangle it so much to where their eyes pop out of their sockets. It's like, that's how I feel about this tank. So, well, getting back to the other thing, let's get back to the armaments. I'm just going to overall revert because there's going to be a lot of layers of armaments. Basically, bottom line, the more angle it is, a little bit better it is. There is so much, like I just said about the armaments. That spatial armor where it's purple, there's like green behind it, blue behind it, but yet it doesn't absorb or block any shell. It pens right through it. Meanwhile, the upper part of your gun has more armor because I blocked. You'll see in the video when I'm going to show you, too, when we get to the battlefield. But you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, how? This hurts my brain to think about how is the upper part of the tank more stronger than the actual fucking turret. Maybe if you look like this, it has a 0 chance pen, but there's so many times where enemies are above me like this and shooting me, and I made them ricochet. It may be a glitch, I don't know. I can't even give you a good answer, but you'll see what I'm talking about when we get into the game. And then you got the side of the tank, completely garbage, but yet I've seen shells ricochet off the side, and it's like, I've lost brain cells. I'm literally losing brain cells as a tank reviewer. Literally. Because how does that describe the laws of physics when you're getting shot by a tier 9 gun? Because you'll see at the end what I'm talking about. Literally take the tier 9 gun and then shoot me on the side and I absorb it. Meanwhile, I only got like 50 millimeters on the side plus the tracks. Even if you consider, and I'm guessing it's because of that one layer of space armor between the tracks and that, so you got 3 layers of space armor, I guess that you can argue that statement, but good lord, it's just fucking, I don't know. It just feels like this tank is so mediocre. So, and you're probably wondering, okay, Fury, hold on. It's like, yes, we could talk about the tank, and yeah, you're going to show proof of your claim, and it's weird and bullshit. Okay, so how about the gun, Fury? Does the gun work good? Because after all, a good tank needs a good gun. No! This tank is the most neediest frickin' tank I have ever seen in my entire life in wargaming. And that's saying a lot. Iron Rain, fucking fuck. Nomad, thank you, Jesus. Nomad, Iron Rain, Ragnarok. I played all the support tanks, even light tanks, and yet this is the most neediest. Why? Because it has an auto reloader, not auto loader, auto reloader. For those of you who don't know, when you play like tanks like the Iron Rain or the any of the French light tanks, you fire a shot and it never reloads that shot unless you waste all of your clip. An auto reloader is when basically your shells reload as long as you don't fire your gun. So say for example, this thing has 3 shots. You could basically reload your bullet while just having 2 shots on standby. Literally, but the more you fire, the longer the reload, but it's like you can have a choice firing while it's reloading, which is what I loved about the Italians. That's why I love the tier 8, which was on my last YouTube channel. I'll put it in the description down below if you want to watch it. Literally, it was the last tier 8 on my last YouTube channel as Field Marshal Fist of Fury that I found it okay. It was like a light tank playstyle, for God's sakes. But here, there's many problems with it. First and foremost, seeing it on the screen paper, yes, this thing does a lot of damage, but it doesn't feel like it. It does like an average roll of like 330, 320 easily. It doesn't do 360. And look on the paper. You're going to see one problem. Now, you can't see it because my camera, and I'm sorry, but I will move it. Well, I won't move it, but I'll tell you. It says the first shot you can see clearly, 18 seconds. And then second shot, 20 seconds. And then third that you can't see, 23 seconds. This is literally the longest reloading Italian heavy tank, or the longest reloading 3-shot auto reloader I have ever seen in my entire life. Because you got, so basically, unless you don't fill your shit up with so many reloading perks, you're screwed. Because you're literally on an 18-second reload. Sorry, acid reflux there. You're on a 18-second reload for one shot. Now, if you don't know what that means on paper, even though you can't see it well because of my, face cam, that means when you fire your first shot after reloading all 3 bullets, 18 seconds is your next shot. You're basically almost close to an artillery reload. That's how bad it is. It's like almost close to an artillery load. Thankfully, there is ways to reduce it, and I will show you. But there's so many other problems. I don't know about you, and yes, it's a 105-55, but the gun feels like it's a tier 6. Any of you who own this tank, please leave in the comments if you have this problem. There's some tanks I shoot at, and you know it's going to pen. You know it's 100% going to be an ace pen, but it ricochets. It ricochets off. Your gun acts sometimes like a tier 6 gun. Does anyone else have that problem? I mean, it may be just me and my bad 20 games I had where I had a couple of tanks that are so weak, like the Revolution French, Sherman, that I bounced off the side of this gun. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But for having that long reload, you're probably wondering, well, okay, so armor you're saying is mediocre. The gun reload is does it at least have speed like the FCT 50 ton, French heavy, very good mobile but acts like a medium, so it gives it its benefit is the speed around the map, which you don't see anymore. This tank is so slow. This tank horrible at speed. You're looking at 50 max speed, but every time I drive it on hilly terrain, which 90% of the maps half the time are hilly terrains, it's like 30. You reduce it down to 30. It feels so sluggish to me. And it's such a pain in my rear end that that's a thing. Meanwhile, you got a tank that has mediocre armor. You can't run away that fast. And you have a 3-shot auto reloader that needs it. This tank screams, help me. This tank literally screams me, help me, help me, I need help. That's literally, if you see this tank on your team, it's like, oh boy, we have to go help him. That's literally the problem when you see this tank. It needs help. So, after ranting about that, okay, does it have at least a decent spotting range? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. This thing can't even see through its spotting range. The spotting range of you seeing you from even with all the, the special camo that I got out of it, literally is legit. Can't hide itself over its main gun where you could see things. It's literally, it can only see up to like 3 grids where you could get spotted up to 4 grids. It's so you can't spot people easily. You can't survive easily because it has a mediocre armor that sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. And you got a fucking insane long reload. Like, really long reload. And where do you begin fixing this problem? Because now I gotta talk to you how I fix it. Well, one thing I did, really, honestly, if you really want the truth, I literally put reloading things on it. I made that reloading go down. Crew performance, like for example, improved ventilation, advanced gun loading. Those are definitely musts for this tank. If you don't have any of them, your gun reloads like an artillery, for fuck's sake. Or like KV2 without no crew or equipment, which, God, like, everybody will be telling you, just put some equipment on. But here's the problem. You got armaments problem where people with higher guns and usually tier 8s can always easily pen up to 210 millimeters easily. Besides 88s, because I've noticed heavily 88s is having a hard time penning this tank. So anything below an 88, you can block shit okay. But anything above an 88, like a T77, you're gonna get eaten alive. Like, literally, this tank will get eaten alive by a T77 American auto-loading heavy. So, you also can put armament perks. If you want to deal with a long-ass reload, you could, like, reduce damage armaments, like this perk. You can reduce the armaments and stuff like that. You could definitely increase its range. But you see the problem here, audience? They only give you 3 equipment pieces. They're relying on heavily your crew to fix all this. And this is such a bad kind of tank that has so many problems that you're forced to have a 3 per crew or more higher to start off in this tank. If you start off with a stock tank, you're done. So let's go with the commander now. For the skills, obviously, I focus heavily on the 3 reload, like the 2 on definitely reloading, which now gets it down to like 16 easily and so on and so forth. But however, I had to put 6 cents. I know people say that 6 cents is no longer easily a thing, but this is arcade now. This ain't Cold War. This is arcade. Arcade, you need 6 cents because you ain't going to see the target. This isn't like True Vision where you're going to see everybody on the field, like literally like that. No. This is literally arcade kind of game. And honestly, 6 cents does help, but at the same time, I'm kind of regretting picking that perk now because now that I have played this tank 20 times and seen how bad this tank is, not only do you need the reloading perks right off the bat, but you need armaments aiming easily. And a few extra bonus if you have any more left in those slots, because, you only get, like, fucking 9. Like, hello. Like, you're going to have one of those perks to help you see farther a little bit because your damn visual on your tank can't see anything. So, your probably best bet is to just try to fucking, just keep the armaments, keep the reloading, keep the aim time, and if you got one perk left, if you want to sacrifice 6 cents to have more view range, I guess, but you see the problem, it's just so much. Alright, let's just get to the battlefield, and I will just show my personal thing on. So, personal opinion. I mean, besides the other tank I had so many times of doing, this one is legit by far the most neediest tank I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, I know there's support role vehicles, but this one takes the fucking cake. Just the fact that when you're shooting and your gun is mediocrely penned, because a lot of times I try to shoot tanks that have no armaments whatsoever, I bounce. I bounce even a Dragul or the Swedish tanks, and I just don't know how. So, in my personal opinion, I don't know who this to recommend, because even for a needy tank, this tank is such hard to play. Now, what you're seeing right now is the best way how to play this tank is you're basically going with the lemon train. This tank has such a fucking long reload that it needs to keep alive. Now, the first person died on the hill, he was on the hill, and I'm like going, frig. Like, why are we losing tanks already? I'm like, it's bad enough with a long reload. So here I am trying to find a setup. I'm detected, and of course, there is no viewing range. This is like legit. I had to sacrifice viewing range for reloading because of how bad this is. It's literally horrible at seeing stuff. When I finally did see it and shot that tank over there, which one am I shooting at? Yeah, the T43, I killed it. Because I know I've wasted 2 shots already, so here I am waiting for the reloading, but it was another tank gone. It would even the scales a little bit after losing R6 on the top of the hill there. But here I am waiting on the reload. I'm like, okay, we got a steady alignment until I saw this, where I saw the T77 and the heavy tanks flanking our team, and I'm like, oh no, it's one of these games. It's literally a definition of how this tank is. It's definitely a support role. Now I try to fire, but that aim time this freaking thing has just doesn't compare to anything. So I'm getting shot at because I'm seeing, oh crap, now I'm seeing them in between all the tanks that can shoot me. So I'm taking a few hits, sacrificing a few hits to get into this trench area. So that way the enemy, if I can, hang on, pause it real quick. Where the enemy is on the other side of the map, I can only see like my head turret somewhat unless they're above the hill. Like you can see if I'm an over hill angle like this, to where I'm in a good fixed position to where I only see my upper head armor, which surprisingly, again, where that hole pen is, I get pen there, but if they try to shoot the upper part, bounces. Just try to figure out that, please, audience, because literally, for me being a tank person for so many years, I can't even figure this out. I can't even figure out how the upper plate armaments are stronger, even though it's the same millimeters, compared to a combined millimeters where you have spatial armor. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. So let's just get back to the recording bit. If I can get it off. Can you please? Thank you. So here I am fixing the trench, and I'm going like, okay, I'm still reloading, but I'm gonna say, okay, now I got all 3 clips ready, and then I took a shot, and see, that's what I'm talking about. The upper plate armament is apparently strong, because I've ricocheted a T28 Proto fully max. Like I said, I can't describe why the hell the upper plate armor is stronger than the lower plate. I don't know, but I'll take it. So here I am. I fired 1 shot. I fired 2 shots. So now I'm on a long ass reload. Like I said, you have no idea how long this reload is. It's literally like you fire all 3 of them. You got like 18-second reload. That's with the equipment and the officer perks for the reloadment thing. Then you got like waiting that long for 3 shots. It's like 2 shots, it's 15, and then 1 shot, it's 13. Meanwhile, you're sitting there waiting for that reload because you tried to kill a tank. Your team is getting fucked like it is right now, and you're like, okay, I gotta do something. So I came out of my crawling hole, killed a T-28, tried to hope to at least boost morale. So I'm going back into my little trench area, waiting for that shell to reload, and God, that reloading is just so fucking long. So I'm going back in the trench. Now I'm going to try to shoot at this tank, and I bounce. Now, I don't know how the hell I bounce. I'm going over there to see what the hell I hit. Hang on. I shot him, and it bounced. Wait, see where that hole... Yeah, there it is. So, let me see real quick. I mean, I guess, granted, maybe the anglement armor, but Jesus Christ, that's... Isn't the Dragul whole armor not that really great? I mean, I don't know. It's mediocre again, but at the same time, that should have been a direct hit for this type of caliber, but whatever. I mean, I'll just take it at a grain of salt. So I wasted a shot trying to shoot an open field tank, and now I gotta wait for the reload again. Meanwhile, our entire side's done. So I'm like looking over here going like, oh crap. Like, this is it. So I got track shot damage. Basically trying to back up into the river. They're shooting at me. I'm taking ricochet. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could salvage this by just holding out, hoping they're dumb enough. And I got my viewport hit. Luckily, it didn't take much damage. So here I am trying to go bob and weave back in the water, trying to get my reloading down, because this is a nightmare for my tank. Pretty much shooting away until I saw the T-77, and I'm like, fuck, that thing's gonna eat me. So I fired one shell, hopefully to get the reloading down, because I don't want to have a long-ass reload, but he's penning me, and then killed me. It's, see, the auto-loading difference is when you have a T-77, you get like a better chance of penning that, where you got this crappy Italian tank that just takes way too long for its auto reloading. I guess they're trying to make it a single shot. I don't know. I don't know where the balance is. I mean, when you think like Iron Rain that shoots shells like 3 shots, can't have an auto reloader where your shells have you fire all 3 and you fire like 1, you can't reload that second one. I get that, but you're doing like nearly 350 to nearly like 400 a hit because of that 4.6 gun. Here it's just feels like a child that needs an adult. It needs like 2 functioning, capable adults to take care of it. That's the best way to describe this tank as a personal thing. It literally is a child that needs an adult's help. It's like I need an adult meme thing like there. It literally does. Oh, and the game's over with, and there's my wreckage of this tank. And I've played this tank so many times today, and it's just... This is like the best damage I could have done the entire game. And I was shooting 6s, an almost dead 8, bounced off an 8 that shouldn't have been bounced off, and then get flubber-knuckered by all the teams. That's like the best way I could show it because of how bad this is. So I will show you the reward after this. Let's go back. And there you go, audience. That's the reward. Now, I know you can't see because of my face cam here. I apologize. But let's just say I block 3,780. That's usually the best thing I could have blocked in the game, which is, again, it sometimes blocks, sometimes doesn't. I don't know how to explain how that works. Maybe it's because it's very, very angle in the top. I don't know. But it's like you would think the armaments plus the spatial armaments would protect it, plus an angle would do more protection than the upper part of your tank. But I digress. So I did 1,483 damage. I've got 3rd place. My credit earning for premium is 92,768, which honestly, that's the one thing I got to say really good about these games I've been playing, that it makes its money. Of course it should. Really easily. And I didn't want to spam premium because anyone who knows me from the cat review that I hate spamming premiums in a premium tank. Because the whole point of it is to make fucking money. So, without premium, I would have made 71,402, which, mediocre. But it's okay. Better than most things. So, not really good. I survived at least 10 ricochet non-penetrated rounds on enemy team players. Yeah, no shit, because I'm even questioning how the hell I blocked so many rounds from an upper plate thing. I mean, maybe because they were 6s shooting me and then the 8 finally came in with its big gun. But I had a T28 Proto fully max shooting me, and well, not T28 Proto, I'm sorry. T28. If I said that, I apologize. T28 fully max shooting me, and I ricocheted that, then I question a few things myself. And for the scoreboard, I would have came in 3rd place. This is the highest I could ever be because I'm always in 6th place or 7th because... Let's just get to the final verdict, and then I'll just overall review it at the end. So, the final verdict. This is like difficult to review this type of play style. Okay, let's add the positives first. Let's add just the positive. It's an auto reloader. Yes, so you got 3 shots you can fire. That's a positive. Armaments can block somewhat. That's a positive. I mean, I wish I could say more that's positive. Let's say negatives now. Plays up against tier 10s. Fucking gun sometimes acts like it's a tier 6 gun. Aim time. Atrocious. Like, aim time for this thing is downright in F sometimes. Fucking shell distance is F because it just keeps flying all over the place. Fucking armaments. Even though I put that as a positive, I'm putting that as a negative because this tank makes no fucking sense of how it blocks shit. And, of course, negative on the goddamn reloading thing. Because Jesus fucking Christ. It's just the reloading can get you killed. Forcibly have to have teams with you. Forcibly have to have, like, you're literally grabbing onto their leg. Literally, like, pretend there's a leg here and you're dragging along going, please, no, brother, don't leave me. I can do something, but don't let me face this alone. Please. Like, you're dragging along this thing. Oh crap. No. Oh, I guess I'm starting a game here. I'm still not editing this out. So, and then you got a tank that can barely do anything whatsoever. So how do I rate this Italian tank that could somewhat do something but can't do others? I mean, if you're by yourself, literally, if you decided to pick this tank because you want to be by yourself, oh god, tier 9s. If you wanted to be by yourself, downright an F fucking tier, 3 out of 10. This tank cannot play by itself. It cannot. With that long ass reloading you have, actually, this is the best way to show it's reloading. Look, 16 seconds for the first round. Literally, mind you, first round. And if you fire all 3, you're fucked to get all those rounds back. Because literally, 16 for a round. Let's see the next one. Come on. 15 seconds. So, if you do the math with 15 plus 16, I'll have it up there. Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then reloading. Come on, game. You see what I fucking mean? And then the last one, 13 seconds, which, like I said in the beginning of this fucking video, is to make sure to have fired 1 round only if you don't know. But if you're like, and I wasn't paying attention and the entire team went in the city and I'm by myself, fine, whatever. I'll probably die, whatever. I'm not in the mood for it. So, the final verdict for this tank, for being in a squad, I would have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Even with a squad, you have to be in a huge squad. This tank cannot go, like, I should be down there with all those people. Tank is going up against everything that World of Tanks is trying to have people not do, and that's lemon train. This tank is a perfect example of being a lemon train tank. It's like, hey, you got this tank? Well, you got to be forcibly be in a lemon train. You cannot, repeat, cannot go by yourself. You can't. Because literally, this tank will eat your anus out, and I'm going to die anyway, so I'm just going to fire all my shots here. And this is what I mean. Like, this is why you don't fire all your shots, but I'm saying fuck it. Because I don't want to be here. So I'm getting pen. That was a bounce. I don't understand how I'm bouncing, but whatever. Last shot. There we go. Good pen. How? I don't understand how the armaments work on this tank. Whatever, game. So 6.5 out of 10 with people. Because this is such a baby tank that I can't believe. Like, I understand support role team. I understand people have to play support. I get it. There's a lot of tanks like that. CDC Black or CDC, Type D9. But this tank is the most neediest fucking tank I have ever seen in World of Tanks. Downright NF for anyone, really. If you want to get it and you like it, fine. It's almost about to leave from this review, or maybe do leave, depending on how much editing I do. But to me, personally, and this best example showing it like this, being a dead carcass tank, to me personally, this tank needs a lot of work. If you're just a beginner, it needs a lot of work. If you have a good commander officer, maybe you can fix a lot of the problems. The aim time, the reloading, and all that shit, the armaments. You could probably fix it. But to me, personally, it's just downright NF of problems that you need to fucking fix. And unless World Tank is going to reduce its reloading after, the third shot, I can understand firing all three that it needs to have a long reload. I get that for balancing problems. But having to wait that long... Like, I've played worse tanks than that, for God's sakes. Play the Ragnarok, play the Iron Rain, play all them, but they feel satisfying at the end, where this doesn't really feel satisfying to me. So, if you want to get this tank, you need to team up with 5 people that is going to cover your god-long reload. And that's the best way I could say to play it. If you bought this, you're a lemon trainer. That's all you are. You're a lemon train. What a day to start off with. I mean, my friend got me this thing, so I'm still giving it shit. So I want to say personally again, thank you, Saz, for buying this tank, even though I feel so bad, shitting on it so bad. But that is my job. That is who I am. If Wargaming gave me a free tank, I'm still going to shit on it if it's going to be that bad. Wargaming should have fucking balanced it more better. And 6.5 out of 10. That's it. Bye, guys. That's it. Bye. Thank you for watching.